a Bulldog radio podcast.
The Ferris State Bulldogs have upset the nation's #2 ranked team. Wide open! Taylor is going to take this one to the house! Touchdown Bulldogs!
Hey, it's another day on the MVSP. Welcoming everybody to this special early morning episode. Brandon Worth, Joe Nagy, as always on the mics. And we're out here, Joe. We're making it happen for the people.
We're trying. It's 8:22 a.m. on this Thursday morning. We usually record at like 2:30 in the afternoon, so usually I'm awake by then. I'm not used to these early mornings, Brandon. It's going to be tough. I'll tell you that much. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, we're tough human beings. We're going to get the job done.
Absolutely.
Moving all of our show production from yesterday afternoon to this morning to make this very special episode happen. We got a great guest. Claire Nowicki's going to join us here from Ferris State Volleyball momentarily.
Huge program.
And going to be a great interview with her. We'll recap all the craziness that happened this weekend. Yes, we will dive into AnchorBone, and we'll talk about how our streak unfortunately came to an end, as well as all the other great things that happened this weekend in Ferris Athletics. And then to wrap up the show, we go back to Joe's underrated sports list. He gave me the pick this week, and let me tell you.
It's a gift.
Yeah, is it a gift? Oh, I appreciate that. I mean, Christmas is only 2 months away, believe it or not. Isn't that crazy?
That'd be a late birthday present.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's like 6 months or so, but, I appreciate it.
It's a birthday present regardless.
Yeah, there we go. So let's just say I hit the target when choosing an episode.
I like that.
You might have got it, but
I like that.
So you're going to have to stay tuned later for that. But without further ado,
let's swing to the interview.
Now joined in studio, Claire Nowicki of Ferris State Volleyball has joined us. Claire, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Claire, thanks for coming on. Won the GLIAC Player of the Week honoree for the second time this year. Picking up that honor in week 4 and this past week. What's that like to be able to, win that? What does that mean to you? What's that mean for the team?
So I was really surprised because as a player, I try not to look at my stats while I play because obviously I'll be just thinking about that one error on that one play and stuff like that. And on day 1, I noticed that another girl in the conference had 35 kills. And I was like, wow, she's going to get this role. She's killing it. And then when I saw I got Player of the Week, I was like, what? I had no idea. And then, I tend to lose track of all my successes. And I was just really happy to see that because I also read the article of what I did well and I had no idea whatsoever. I didn't know that I hit a 500 and it was just really cool opportunity.
Yeah. I can personally say winning GLIAC Runner of the Week, week 1, I was not prepared for that whatsoever. So no, that's really cool. But you guys coming off of a pretty good performance at the Midwest crossover in Hammond, winning the 2 games, obviously falling in the championship. What were your guys' overall thoughts as a team and you individually this weekend?
So we take this loss as an obstacle and it's an obstacle that we're just going to learn from and we take these opportunities to just learn and see what other teams did really well, and we're going to take those things too. So, I don't know, we had a good opponent that took a lot of good swings at us, and we're like, wow, why don't we implement those things into our gameplay? So, we're just going to try to implement some things that we saw that was really well, and, there's a lot of good and a lot of bad, and it's just a learning opportunity.
For sure.
And a lot of those teams, were in the regional finals and stuff like that last year. I know Coach Tia talks about being in the now, not looking too far ahead in just a game that's coming up this week. But, what's that like to be able to get a good look at some of those teams that you might see later on?
We're just going to learn from the game, and obviously they scout us really well. So we know that they're going to try to do things that, work for beating us, and we're going to try to do things that beat them. And we're just going to be a game of scouts and, who wins the knowledge game pretty much.
For sure.
Yeah, there's so much that you can bring from last year's experience too. And for you especially, coming into a program with a lot of firepower, with some great players like Katie O'Connell, Samantha Herman last year, what were you able to learn from them and now implement with a lot of the teammates that you have in especially a very talented outside hitter group?
Yeah, Katie O'Connell brought a level of, we all call it swag. She was awesome. She was so cool and she was so calm and collected. She was the eye of the hurricane. You can always rely on Katie. And so when Tia was telling me in the spring that I would probably hit right side this year because I was usually an outside, I was like, these are going to be big roles to fill and I just need to be there for it because, we're a young team and who else will, So it was pretty cool and there's a lot to learn from Katie. So just taking that, and I'm always learning from Katie. Like Tia will always reference, like, Katie will start inside and like tell me all these different things that worked well, and like, you know, it's okay, Katie didn't do this till she was a junior type thing. So I mean, it's really cool that she can compare me to Katie, but I'm also learning to be my own person and like my own player itself.
For sure.
It's good to have kind of that blueprint to go off of. And speaking of, you know, having such a young team, you know, what's that like for, you know, you and the other sophomores to step up, you know, kind of, you know, last year having Katie in those kind of leadership roles and stuff, you know, what did you kind of learn from them and, you know, implementing that into being more of a veteran on this team?
So our coach Tia picks like one player per class to like represent the leadership role. And so what was also like voted upon the teammates. So like, there's a representative from freshman, sophomore, whatever. And so I'm the sophomore representative, and we all meet once a week about what's going on. You know, we have a term called poop in the fish tank, like who's pooping in the fish tank right now and how do we clean it? And sometimes it's okay, you know, if there's some of that crud in there, because it just makes the team stronger. And like, you don't always have to be unified. You can be conflicted sometimes, and that shows that we're okay to like talk to each other and confront each other. But I don't know. We're all stepping up, and it's, as a freshman, I was like scared to say some things, but now I feel like I have some authority because I'm a sophomore and now I play. And I don't know. It's just like we just talk once a week, and we I don't know, discuss everything.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
I think that's well needed for teammates to get together and kind of dissect. Cause I feel like coaches too have a lot of things that they notice and stuff like that. But like, off the court, you guys are hanging out all the time. You know, like when like obviously being a college athlete is very hard enough with school and everything. So I think that's very cool. But with the team overall, we've seen a lot of great performances and great seasons over the last year. What have you seen, and what would you identify as like, wow, Ferris State does this, I think, better than anybody in the conference?
Yeah, we have a mentor. I don't know if track has it too, but his name's Danny, and he's awesome. He says that, you know, Walmart's the cheapest, Target's the trendiest. What is your ist? And we sat down in the spring. We're like, what do we fight for? Like, what is our ist? And we told each other, like, we're the willingest team. Like, we're willing to fight after any ball. We're willing to fight, you know, through the ugly, and we're willing to just get the dub, whatever it takes.
Yeah. Is this Danny Hunt?
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
I love Danny. I've worked with him in the past. He's a great guy.
Danny.
Great guy.
Yeah, that's such a cool approach to take. But when the team traveled to Grand Valley, soccer team was in attendance, which was really cool to see. You know, how cool is that, you know, for the athletic programs to, you know, support each other and to be able to have that support kind of when you, not only you're going to some place like that, but, you know, at home you're really packing the stands. It
was awesome. I mean, it's always great to have that support system. And, you know, they're just we take that energy, and even if it's like opposing us, like Hillsdale does like a really good job of like chirping us, we just take that energy. We're just going to consume it no matter if it's like against us or towards us. It's energy and we need it. And same thing goes for when they're actually cheering for us, like at that Grand Valley game, you know, that energy is awesome and we needed it. And even bands, like when Michigan Tech has their band playing, we're always just using whatever their take, and we're just going with it, rolling with the punches.
Yeah, always with their checkered suspenders up there. I'm like, yeah, they always bring it. But you guys have traveled all over so far this season, a lot of long road trips. You guys are heading to Wisconsin this weekend. What are some of the things that you do in preparation for the long bus rides, and kind of have a routine as far as like, do you like to listen to music? Do you like listening to or watching movies or anything like that? Or does the team do anything together to make those trips a lot more easier?
Yeah, usually before we all fall asleep, our coach puts on like a movie, and she says like phones away, but sometimes like we kind of lose track of the movie and we end up talking and playing games, like card games, which is even better than watching a movie, I think. So we sort of do our own thing, or like the front of the bus sometimes likes to connect to the big speaker and the microphone and start doing karaoke.
Oh, nice.
Bus driver's not too happy with it, but it's awesome. I don't know. We always find ways to have fun, even if it's like after a loss. The bus ride's always silent for like an hour, but then we just, you know, right back in the swing of things. You can't grieve for that long, but.
What's been probably the worst bus ride that you've ever had?
Last year when we were in Marquette and the Mackinac Bridge was like iced over, and the bus ride turned into like 13 hours. Yikes. Got back at like 3 a.m.
That's tough.
I had to walk through the ice arena all the way around, and
You're just like, I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Just wanna go to sleep
I
in
just
my
want a
bed.
pillow and a blanket. I'll sleep anywhere.
That's
Yeah.
exactly how it
For
was.
sure. But yeah, the standout career at Clarkston. I mean, you saw a lot of great success there, all state and all of those honorees. What ended up bringing you to Ferris State?
The optometry program really
Okay.
caught my eye. So I was looking all over, and COVID kind of hit. So it was weird because offers were like, hey, you no longer have 4 years. I'm going to give you 2 years because super senior is going to come back because of their COVID year. So sort of like lost some opportunities with that. But, I looked into Ferris and I saw they had an optometry program, and I was really interested in that after I saw that they had the optometry program. And plus, Coach Tia has like a really winning program, and just Ferris State itself is very competitive, and so is the GLIAC.
For sure. Last question for you here. We ask everybody on the show, what's your favorite part about being a part of the Ferris State Bulldog volleyball team?
I say the culture. We do a really good job of like being one team. We have one goal. We're always together, and it's never an I problem. It's a we.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. That's very cool. Well, Claire, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck on this big slate this weekend.
Thank you for having me.
Once again, huge thanks to Claire for coming on the show, taking a break out of her busy schedule to come talk to us. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate all the athletes who take time out of their schedule to come on the show. It's always a blast talking to them. But hopping into the Ferris State Sports Report, we'll start with volleyball. Brandon, quick little trip down to Hampton, Indiana last weekend for the Midwest Regional Crossover on Friday. One against Cedarville, one against Rockhurst, and then that following day, on Saturday, lost to Lewis in one of the final games, I think. It was a good showing all around. Only lost 4 sets. Only lost 1 set in the first day, but 4 overall. What were we seeing, Brandon?
Yeah, we saw a lot of good things. I mean, overall, the team, to my mind, played pretty well. Did a lot of great things. I mean, being able to get to the championship match certainly got the job done on Friday with big wins against Cedarville and Rockhurst. Played really well there. And then we fell to Lewis in the championship game, which happens. I mean, it happens. Now, you can't win every game, unfortunately. Sometimes you can, but more times than not, you can't. But a lot of good things that we saw. I mean, the offense looked pretty solid overall throughout the entirety of the weekend. A lot of great efficiencies offensively. And I think the biggest thing really, like just highlighting the Lewis game, at least that I found kind of looking back at the recap of this game, is there was some momentums that went to the Flyers' favor, where they got 4 or 5 points in a couple stretches, but they kind of kept chunking away 3 to our 2 or our 1, and that just kind of mounted up over time. And I mean, it's definitely one of those situations in volleyball where it can go to the hot hand, and you can really make these big comebacks, really riding off of an offensive player or a set of offensive players. And for sure, Claire was one of them, as well as Livia Henneman-Delape was also very efficient as well. But I thought we saw a lot of great things from this offense overall. I think that one of the other biggest things, too, was there was a couple times that I noticed, looking back at the play-by-play and stuff like that, where it just didn't seem like we ever got we just never really got some opportunities prime, where they kind of got on the attack mode a lot of the time, and they were able to counter convert on a lot of those opportunities. So just didn't quite get our really star-studded offensive front a lot of opportunities. And Lewis definitely, especially in that second set, was able to take advantage. Even though it was kind of a sluggish set overall, they got the more opportunities, and they were able to convert with those more attempts. So, I mean, because really, throughout the stat sheet, it was a really tight match. And I mean, you can see that
close
only,
for everything.
Yeah, only losing by 2 each set. Even though it looked like
first set was 31-29.
Yeah,
holy crap!
Absolute dogfight, and that's a really hard thing out of the gate when you have that long of a set. And then that's the first one. Usually you see that from set 4, set 5, where you're kind of in that mode of like, yeah, we're already to the end. Like, let's keep going. Man. Where the first set, if you get that, it's like, oh man, okay, now we got to play potentially 4 more sets after this, and that's going to be a little taxing. But overall, a lot of good. I know, obviously, they would love to come home with the chip, but obviously got to see a good Lewis team that if we make it to the regional tournament, will certainly be in that mix and could be a team that we'll face yet again.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I was about to say is, I mean, Rockhurst was a team, too, that made the regional tournament. We saw them last year, beat them. And Lewis was a team that we might have saw. We ended up playing, Missouri St. Louis
Yep.
instead. They took on each other. But this was a very valuable tournament, especially seeing a lot of teams in the region that, are very successful and are going to be able to see later on in the year. But it was really good to see. I mean, we had really great hit percentages throughout, and especially with Claire getting Player of the Week honorees for the GLIAC.
Shout
That's
out.
really huge. Kaylee Mott as well, getting her, 5th or something this
Shout
year.
out. Yep.
It's basically just clockwork at this point. It's basically just clockwork.
It is clockwork. They're doing some great things, and I think there was a lot of great performances all across the board. And it's going to be really carrying over to Thursday. They're going to be at home, 7 o'clock. Be there, be square against Wayne State. It'll be a good match for sure. Wayne State was a team that we faced off with last year very competitively earlier this season in early September down in Detroit. It was a 5-set thriller. So you're going to want to watch this game. It's going to be really fun to see taking on the Warriors as well as they'll play Parkside and Lake Superior State Saturday and Monday. A little bit of an interesting schedule.
A little bit toss-up of a schedule.
Yeah, but
you're going to have 2 days or a day in between the two instead of just... It'll be weird. Not gonna lie.
It is
It'll
a
be
little
weird working.
It is a little
long
weird.
week.
Yeah, 5 days straight for me and Joe over this next weekend. Oof.
Pretty paychecks coming our way.
That
that's
is
for
true.
Sure.
That is
That's for
true.
Sure.
So yeah, we'll cover. It'll certainly be a great match coming up against Wayne for sure. We'll preview Parkside and Lake Superior as well in the next episode, which you should subscribe in the feed if you haven't already to the show. But yeah, Wayne State's going to be a fun match. They're one of the best teams in the GLIAC, and they'll play us very competitively, as they always have, regardless of records, regardless of conference standing, seeding, and they certainly bring a lot of firepower on both sides of the net. So going to be super fun. That'll be 7 o'clock. You can find out all ticket information for those coming from outside on campus. Students, I believe, get in free to volleyball, I want to say.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they just get in free to any game.
Yeah, anything in Wink, I think, is free. Engelglaben's different.
Any Division II
event is
sport
free.
is free for students.
Yeah, so it's free. So come out and support
Might as
volleyball.
well show up. I mean, there's nothing else to do.
Yeah, I will tell
There's
you.
nothing else to do in Big Rapids.
Yeah, I kind of guess so. The 10,000 people we have, but no
That
fun
was
stuff.
surprising. I'm not even gonna lie. Did not realize we had 10,000 people in this town.
We do. I think it's definitely inflated, though, from the
100%.
student population.
100%. There's just because of the student. I bet it probably gets down to more like 6,000 or something like that.
Oh, yeah, maybe even lower. But,
Probably.
yeah, we need more stuff. Like, they brought in the purple door for axe throwing. That one's okay. But, like, you know what they should do? And I actually did a project about this in one of my classes in
Talk your
proposal
stuff, Brandon.
writing.
I remember this. Talk your stuff.
Yes. Put mini golf in
Do it.
JCPenney. Do it.
The old JCPenney, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great
Let's
idea.
put some in there. It's wasted space
Yeah,
right now.
it's downtown. It's
a
family fun.
massive-
You have access now
It's
to
a
all the
massive
stores.
building.
It's a massive building with a lot of square footage inside. I've been in a couple times. It is huge.
You might as well.
And you have more
Do
room
that,
to work
get
with.
an arcade, like a barcade type situation.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Be sick.
Yeah, and you can literally draw attention to downtown.
You got the building.
Yeah.
You got the. There's
It wouldn't be that expensive either.
incredible upside potential with almost no downside at all. Is what it is.
Yeah, I mean it'll be
No
it'll be a
downside.
little it'll
no
be
downside. No
there's
downside.
no downside. Making the blueprint could be a little costly as far as the material and building. If you wanted to make it cool, which I mean,
No, that's
technically
fake
don't even
news.
have to make it cool. Like I'm talking like you can make elevation change and bring in like the fancy windmills and blah, blah, blah. Which you don't even have to do. Like I did that whole project
It's woodwork though.
and I was like, dude, this is cool. Like we should submit this. And my professor's like, it's not a bad idea. That was 2 years ago. I kind of
Was that
completely
Professor
forgot about it.
Amadon or whatever?
Yeah,
Rick-
shout out to
Ricky.
Professor Amadon. I learned a lot from his
Ricky.
class.
I did too.
So that was a fun class. But anyway, back to sports we go. We kind of delayed the inevitable, but here it comes. We lost.
Tough looks.
It's
Tough
okay,
looks.
though.
AnchorBone is no longer in our possession.
It is not in our possession. And here's why that even could be better for us moving forward. That was a very good Grand Valley team, right? They're number 2 in the
Really
nation
good.
for a reason. Me and Joe called it before. This is a game you're going to remember, obviously, because it was an absolute packed game. You guys rocked the top, which was absolutely fantastic.
12,661.
Holy
Broke
cow.
the record.
Unbelievable atmosphere all the way around. I literally was messing with audio levels almost the entire game, and I could not get it as noticeable because the fans were so rocking. Like, it was very hard to judge, which is fantastic, y'all. Y'all make my job a lot harder, and I really appreciate you for that. But it was an amazing atmosphere. Joe was on the field during it. I can't even imagine what you got to experience.
I was down on
in
the field when our team came in. That was the loudest I've ever heard Top Taggart, I think, ever.
Yeah.
I think, like, freshman year was, like, pretty crazy because I remember being on the field for that when they were here. But, like, excuse me, that was insane. Like,
yeah.
When they came on, people were booing and stuff. And then when we came on, people were rocking. Like, it was crazy. Not the outcome we wanted, but it's tough.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those games where you knew it was going to be a dogfight. There was no anticipation in my mind that this game was going to get completely out of hand either direction. I think the biggest thing was, really the difference in this whole game, and I think altogether was our offense just slowed down. I want to say it was fully like getting too conservative because I don't know if that's the right term to describe it. That's what it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it wasn't like they weren't just parking the bus play calls. Let's try to run out the clock. There's no way we were doing that.
Yeah.
And you can tell. But I think the biggest thing was they absolutely dominated the trenches, especially in the late part of the second half.
Oh, for sure.
You could see it on their side of the football. Tariq Reed and the running backs, Jack Provencher, they were getting chunk yardage, especially on those last two drives where they were just running all over us. And you could just tell that they were moving the line of scrimmage at the snap of the football.
I will say this is just both ways. The refs, terrible.
Terrible
Reffings.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even because, like, we lost, but, like, there was blatant holding on both sides. And there's even pictures of holding of, like, guys getting their face masks just ripped down and just no calls happening. Like, there was one where we had them back in, like, their 15 or something like that. Jordan beat the guy to the outside, and his defender just grabbed him by the arm and his jersey and just, like, yanked him back. And we're just, like, a blatant hold in front of the ref, and then nobody called. And I was just like, I guess it's going to be this game. But, I mean, you can't really do anything about it because then it's just going to be, like, you just got to at one point just deal with it, you know, and just try to beat it. But it was going after the same thing. I mean, I saw a lot of blatant holds that we were doing that didn't get called. I mean, we got called on it later in the game, which was kind of baloney, a little bit of BS because, like, if you're not going to call it all game, then why call it there when, you know, we're trying to make a game-winning drive. But it's whatever. One thing that I don't understand is how we dropped to 7th in the coaches poll and 4th.
Yeah.
I don't know how we just didn't flip-flop.
That's not right.
Because we're 100% better than Angelo State, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
And we're 100%. I can definitely tell you, we will roll Ashland, Pittsburgh State, Ouachita Baptist. Shepherd we might have a little bit of problem with. But 4 out of the 6 that are above us in the AFC coaches poll, I don't know how we're below them.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can drop that much, especially when you only lose 22-21.
5-1.
I mean,
that's really the only thing. If you looked at resumes on paper.
As soon as that bye goes down, though, for all these other teams that haven't had byes, like, I think, because we're the only one other than Ashland, we're the only teams that's had a bye so far.
Yeah.
So I think once that happens, we'll probably move up. But the D2, actual poll, D2 football, we're 4th. So
yeah, I think
which makes more sense.
Yeah, I think 7 is way too low. I don't know why the coaches decided that. But I could understand 4 or 3. I think that makes sense. I would. I mean, realistically, and a lot of fans' mind, I'm sure, was like, why isn't it just a straight flop? They go to 1, we go to 2. That makes sense. But there's more numbers to that, obviously, and you have other teams that are undefeated and have played pretty solid competition and have really taken care of business, like Angelo State and Shepherd, like those teams that you just mentioned, Joe. But I think there's still a lot of things that can make this Bulldog team much better, and I think this is going to be one of the moments that we remember this season by. And I don't think that I'm not taking that in a bad sense or whatever, like, oh my gosh, it's a wasted season. No, not at all. They can still do a lot of great things, and we can certainly get back at them at Lubbers if we end up facing them in the regional game. That will be an absolute epic rematch if that ends up going down in the brackets as we hope. But I think there's a lot of great things that we saw from this team as far as grit. They played hard the entire 60 minutes. And in the reality, it just really came down to they had the momentum the last 15 minutes of the game. That's really the only difference in this game.
Yeah.
They moved the trenches, as mentioned. Overall, their defensive line, give them a lot of credit. They really gave our offensive line fits, disguised blitzes, a lot of pressure on Malik. Had to force him to make some quicker throws, not as much play develop. Which if we let plays develop like you saw in the first quarter, we can make huge plays down the field with Marcus and CJ and Tyrese and Brandon Childress and all of those guys, because you saw those big plays early on. We had a couple big touchdowns. I thought Marcus had an amazing game in the first half. I'd love to see him get the ball more in the second half. But obviously we have so many talent. You got to spread the wealth around. But I thought the defense also played very well. We forced more turnovers on them, especially on those 4th down and that 2-point stand in the second half was very crucial. Gave us a really good chance, but just simply kind of ran out of gas a little bit. And give Grand Valley credit; they're a really good football team. They brought their crowd, and they really played a solid game. I thought they really played like a number 2 team in the country. And I mean, Coach Mitchell finally got the W against us. So congrats to him, I guess.
Crazy that he finally got it. But I mean, when we were up 21-10, we had a chance to go up by up to 27, and we just didn't do it.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of times where we just had options and opportunities that we just didn't capitalize on. I think also it's just kind of like our blocking could have been a little bit better, especially like on those end around sweeps that we gave to Tyrese. There was times where he only got maybe 2 or 3 yards, when usually that's one where we're able to chunk off a pretty hefty amount of yards off those type of runs. There was a couple underthrows from Malik that didn't go through all the best. But I mean, also Malik was still injured a little bit. Like, he was still kind of nursing it some, but could have been better, could have been worse. Tough looks.
Yeah, it could have been worse, could have been better. But it was a good football game all the way around. So I thought the guys really showed a lot of great class after the game. As far as our guys, I thought
can't say a thing about Grand Valley.
We won't talk about that. But I think there was a lot of great things that we saw from those guys as not only football players but men. I thought they really handled that really well after the game. Some of the ones that I talked to, they were just like, "Yep, it's a football game. We're back at it." I feel really bad for Michigan Tech because
it's going to be a blood.
I think that this next game might be an early version of Michael Myers Halloween.
It's going to be.
Might get ugly.
It is going to get ugly pretty fast.
Yeah. So
seeing that, it's feel bad. I feel really bad because they came off a win against Northern Michigan last week, but it's going to be
I don't think they're ready to see what this motivated team. Because now we're motivated. We're more motivated than we would have probably been if we won this game. To be honest, I think that's.
100%.
I think the loss can speak more to this team more than a win, and I think this could really help build this football team even better going into the rest of the year. So
yeah, exactly.
Michigan Tech next weekend. Barrett Taggart, 1:00 kickoff. Going to be fun. Make sure we rock the top once again. Should be nice. Probably. I hope it's going to be warmer by what I've heard.
I think it's supposed to.
Yeah. So
this week. So we'll see.
So it'll be nicer for sure. But
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, speaking of weather, a little colder inside on the rink, but it was a good game on Saturday for hockey. Ended up getting a nice bounce back win after Friday's loss. Played. I wouldn't call it a tale of two games because it wasn't necessarily polar opposites.
It's just the outcome was, we played pretty solid. Your boy was on the call, Brandon. That's what I like to see.
Oh, yeah. It was a fun time. Got a couple highlight reels. I mean, Stepan Pokorny.
I heard your voice on the old CCHA Instagram.
I did make it on the CCHA Instagram, so that was pretty cool. But I give all the credit to Pokey for the absolute filthiest goal I've seen in a hot minute on the rink. That was an absolute beautiful textbook deke, and you could hear my voice.
Quick little 1-2.
Clearly clarify that on the
forehand, backhand. Love to see it.
Yeah, forehand, backhand, deke. Oh, yeah. Mighty Duck style right there. But no, defense played phenomenal in my opinion. I thought the hustle was there. We were blocking shots. Noah Gies brick wall, as I like to call him. Nothing's getting by. He was fantastic. I believe he finished with a 9.67 save percentage, only let one by. I believe I want to say in 30 tries, 29 for 30 in saves. Yeah, and the only goal was later in the third period. So offense looked really good. Creative chances was the biggest thing coming in, and I think they definitely did that. And I think that honestly, kind of if you dumb it down, one of the biggest things was Canisius had breakaway opportunities, open looks in the first game. And we reversed it. We got the open looks and we got the breakaways. We could have won this game possibly 7-1 because we had a couple breakaways where Barchetsky just made a really, really nice play when it was 1-on-1 in the open ice, pretty much like a penalty shootout. He made a couple big saves, but I mean, we had a lot more opportunities going from counterattack, transitioning to the offensive zone, and got a lot of good looks. And a couple of them we finished, a couple of them we didn't. But overall, power play, much better. We did much better on the power play, netting 1 goal, and we did a really good job on the kill as well. So overall, much better pace, much better setup hockey. Fundamentals off the face-off looked much better. Just overall,
it was
very good.
Overall, just a lot better in general. I think, especially when we see what we were able to do in the second period, where we struck early and then just kind of kept the foot on the gas, is what we need to do. First period was kind of just back and forth for a little bit, and then we were able to, get the first one on the board, which was good. But one thing we got to one thing that you said, Brandon, is we really got to finish on the old breakaways. Because those are a lot of times where we need to kind of be able to finish those. And I mean, especially on Friday, Canisius had a couple. I think they scored a shorty, right? That was that Canisius or Western?
I think
scored a shorty.
I think it was Western.
I can't remember. It was a little bit ago, but there was. I think it was Canisius because it was unassisted.
Oh no!
It was the first period. It was like the first goal.
Yeah. I know what goal you're talking about.
It was because
yes.
It was. I think it was unassisted. I don't know if it was shorthanded, but he still got a breakaway and he was able to slot it through. I think that's just the only thing we need to work on because I mean when. Who had it? Was it Schleppy had the one breakaway, right?
It was Matt Slick that had the one
Matt
on Saturday.
Slick had one.
He scored the goal and the stick. It was pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah, that was pretty clean.
Yeah.
But just little things like that where there's a lot of opportunities that we got to take advantage of is the one thing. In power plays, we did a little bit better, but still need to step up on those. I mean, getting that percentage up is definitely a very, very high priority because I mean when you face off teams like Bemidji State later on in the season, Mercyhurst is a team that is pretty good. I don't know if they didn't make the playoffs last year, but they're still pretty good. I think they're in the Hockey East or something like that. Something like that. Yeah. I forget what conference they're in, but Minnesota State and Northern, those kind of teams, you're gonna have to capitalize on those power play opportunities because you're not gonna get a whole lot. And when you have those odd man rushes or something like that, you need to be able to slot a goal in and be able to take control of the game.
Yeah, for sure. Tempo was very key with a lot of these games, and I think that our group of guys have done a really good job of really either setting the tone or really taking the tone from that improvement. I think we've seen, especially going into this weekend, we had came into each series having won the first one, slowed down a little bit the second series, didn't make enough adjustments to their adjustments to lose game 2. So when you saw obviously them take out the first game, you were like, oh, okay, this isn't looking too good. I mean, it looked kind of flat. It was a weird game. You didn't know what was going to happen, but they came out with a vengeance. They really did a great job adjusting, especially off the face-off. And even though Canisius, I think, technically had the face-off split in the stat sheet at the end of the game, it did not feel like it. They had won a lot of great setups off the face-off, especially early on. But I think there was, you had a lot of the later lines as well playing in those second and third periods as well. They were getting a little bit of longer shifts. So you saw a little bit of those younger guys getting the experience off the draw as well against some of Canisius' higher lines. But I think still it was a lot of great improvement all the way around. And looking to hope they build off of this week, work week, and then going to be CCHA play from here on out for a little while here till GLI. So the Tommies coming to town. Could be an opportunity for a sweep here, Joe. I mean, the Tommies are a team we could get.
Yeah, they are one of the newest teams of Division I hockey. Had their first inaugural season last year. We did give them their first win, which is kind of a sour thing, but I think we'll be able to play pretty well. We're a lot better than last year, and St. Thomas lost some of their top goal scorers to the transfer portal. They did pick up a couple. I forget who it was. I was reading up on it, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago before the season started, but they kind of hit it pretty hard as well, so they're going to be a new team that's going to be able to come in with a vengeance. But it's going to be a good one, I think, especially seeing, against Canisius. The cool thing about Canisius, though, is we played against our Coach Trevor Large. Yep. Was one of Bob Daniels' players in 2004, 2003.
Yeah.
The early 2000s success that we saw from that was really cool.
Very
it was cool to talk to him, too. I was able to get the starters from him. He was a really cool guy. Joked around. He was pretty funny.
That is cool. I have heard good things, so that's very cool. But, going to be looking forward to that next weekend. Or the following weekend, I should say, where we host St. Thomas. You can find all the tickets out. I think there might be more promos coming out. I'm giving Ferris Athletics credit. We're getting those discounts for us to fill the dog pounds. So y'all need to show up. This team's playing a lot better.
We kind of need to sweep this team. We need to sweep this team so that way we can get some more people in the seats for this upcoming for Mercyhurst and Bowling Green later on.
Oh, yeah, because those will be fun games for sure. You can find all that information out at FerrisStateBulldogs.com. Moving over to soccer now. West Michigan duels over the weekend. Took on the Panthers and the Lakers. Got revenge at Davenport, 1-0. The score in that one, courtesy of another brace by who else? But Izzy Zamborini once again. I can't even, her 9th of the season, I think now. It's just on an absolute
Something crazy
roll.
like that.
Yeah, offensive player in the week. Lauren Kabacki, first win in net. Congratulations to Lauren on a fine performance. Defense did really well. I only gave Davenport 5 shots, only 1 save needed. On net, our defense stepped up huge in that game. We had a lot of set piece opportunities, which was good to see. We'd love to see a little bit more success off of the set pieces for sure. Which we saw a free kick later in the Grand Valley game, which was clutch by who else, of course, but Izzy Zamborini once again. But I think it was Davenport wanted to play physical in that Davenport game. We didn't have to play physical. We were playing with very good pace, and I think we looked very sound offensively and defensively, taking care of possession. There was a couple times where we could have been a little bit better, but I think all the way around, I think it was much improvement. But the Grand Valley game, it was absolutely great to see us end up getting this game into a draw. The Grand Valley game earlier this season was just an absolute dogfight, and to see them go on top in what looked to be a very similar game, you were kind of concerned that the game was just going to kind of stale itself out, not like in a bad way, but it was just going to be so tight that you weren't sure. But Izzy Zamborini able to score on the free kick to tie this one once again. We'll wait and see a potential GLIAC postseason for the all-for-all trifecta of a rematch, which we ended up winning last year. So it'll be fun, but very even across the stat sheet. Great game, I thought, in net by Daria. She played very well with 5 saves on a lot of shot opportunities. I believe they had 14. We did have 12, but I think we overall had a little bit more off target as compared to them.
75% of the shots came from one person. So.
No, that is true. So you are seeing the offense being a little
heavy on. That's what.
But it's getting your best players a chance to score.
That's what Henson said though. He's like, he doesn't really want it to always just be the Izzy show where she's just taking shots, because if you get used to that, then it's just going to be teams are just trying to find a way to shut her down, and then that's kind of how the offense is going to fall apart. So spreading around the shots is kind of going to be the important thing, but still to be able to see that we have someone who can just generate offense just by herself is a pretty valuable thing. But spreading it around is probably going to be the big goal for this week.
Yeah, it's a tool that you love to have in your toolbox, but you don't want it to be the go-to.
You don't want to be your favorite.
That you grab out of the box.
You don't want to be the old reliable.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good thing to have for later, but it's not something you gotta just
like the SpongeBob jellyfish
each and every game. So, I would absolutely agree. But I thought it was a really solid weekend. 4 points, obviously nothing to be ashamed of for sure. Getting revenge on Davenport and able to draw against a nationally ranked Grand Valley team, certainly a good.
Huge for the program.
Yeah, so going to be a big weekend this upcoming weekend. Friday, Michigan Tech coming to town. This was a team we beat at Houghton. This will be at 1 o'clock on Friday. We'll kind of preview that more on Thursday. Friday morning's episode that'll be recorded Thursday. And then a big one, Sunday, Northern Michigan at 1 o'clock. Yours truly has somehow found his way to get on the call once again. Redemption tour for myself. Going to call the Wildcats game. Joe will be with me to do stats and more.
Yeah, I won't be on the call, but I'll be there.
Yeah, he'll be my.
Maybe I can coax Robin and be like, yo, let me hop on the mics.
Oh, I would love that. Can we make this happen, please? Rob Harrison, are we listening?
We'll see. I don't know.
The dream team.
I might have to do stats. I don't know.
Oh yeah, the dream team needs to get together. I need to figure out the nicknames.
Maybe one of these days, if Harrison's like sick or something, we'll just be the tandem for hockey. Who knows?
Could you imagine that?
That'd be pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie.
That would be. I would need a lot of things to learn for sure on how that process goes. But that was a great opportunity as well. But I got to think of like the team names because I think you and me are the dream team.
We're the dream team.
And then me and Nico for basketball are the dynamic duo. But I keep flipping them backwards because obviously for those who haven't seen the Nico episode, you need to go watch that. That was cool. Me and him working together in PA and game ops for basketball and a lot of the good sports. Nico does a great job. We always are at the table together, working together on calling and all the game producing and stuff. And then there's me and Joe, obviously the dream team to make this podcast happen. And we do it with, I think we do a pretty good job. Would you say?
I mean, I'd say so. How many total views and listens do we have, you think?
It's climbing. Let me tell you what. I think that the overall listener support that we got last week was phenomenal with Brad and obviously having Caleb and Lorraine talking about Grand Valley, obviously. A little bit more heightened in the moment, but you guys did a great job of being able to boost our ratings, and they're even going even more up now. I think I want to say that we've definitely upped the listener rate. I want to say somewhere in the ballpark of just a percentage. I think we're up by, I want to say, like 20 to 30 or 25%.
Loving what we're seeing.
So what we're seeing. That's just from basic math.
That's what
from
you
a
like to see.
Major.
That's what you like to see right there.
But you guys are awesome. Make sure you check us out on all the platforms you haven't already, as well as YouTube. We're posting our best bits there. Joe made a crazy claim about Kansas last week. That's the latest one, so you can check that out.
No, it was true for a little bit.
No, it was not.
It was true for a little bit.
It was
because it was reaffirmed by them actually getting ranked in the top 20.
And they proceeded to lose 2 in a row. But it is what it is. It was a great bit, so you can check that out on YouTube, and we love to see all those views and more. And Coach Hodges' episode went off on YouTube as well.
That's pretty sick. That was like 120 views or something.
Yeah, everybody loved listening to that one.
Huge.
So when you have a D2 coordinator of the year on the show, you get some
people listening.
Absolutely.
That's what I like to see.
But anyway, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're talking darts. Stay tuned. The MVSP is proud to partner with the people of Eagle Village Incorporated. With over 50 years of experience helping and changing the lives of youth, there are opportunities for you to be the next to make a direct impact, including plenty of positions available, including summer staff, internships, and more. For more information, visit eaglevillage.org. Eagle Village, where potential soars.
Welcome back after the break, everybody. Gonna hop into some darts now. Brandon, I didn't realize doing my research here that darts is crazy big across the pond. I didn't even realize that.
It's like literally up there with soccer and cricket as far as like the most popular sports in all across Europe.
I knew that was kind of big because Ted Lasso thing, like everybody was like into darts, and I just like, I would have never guessed.
Yeah, like I feel like darts over across the pond is like our equivalent to like, I wouldn't call it like pool, for example, but it's like the go-to. It's the go-to pub game. It's like hands down, not even close comparison.
Oh, billiards over there is pretty big too.
It is pretty big.
Pub games over there are pretty huge, I think.
Yeah,
right?
They are much bigger across the pond than they are here. But especially comparison of like, anybody could go play in a pub and be that good, and then I'm even going professional from that. You don't see like that as much from our standpoint here in the U.S. But no, I think darts is one of those sports where it's like, people probably have never watched it, which is fair. It's honestly fair. Why would you watch it, for example? But it's like one of those where you come across it on the Ocho, for example, and then you like just see how like intense the game is, and you're like, wow, this is an incredible game.
There are some sick nicknames.
There is.
James the Machine Wade. He's fifth in the boys are back in town on his walk-ups. I like how they list their walk-on song.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty
Peter
sick.
Snakebite Wright.
Dude.
That's a good one.
Gerwin the Iceman Price.
Ooh.
Dude.
Slick.
How are these so cool?
Yeah.
These are such cool nicknames.
Yeah. It was the legendary Phil Taylor that retired.
Iceman Price.
He had won the most world titles. I believe his nickname was the Power, and then his walk-up was, I got the power.
That's funny.
And it was just
Johnny
one of those,
the Ferret Clayton.
just a match made in heaven.
That was not as cool, not gonna lie.
No,
but I mean, it's still, I guess.
That's the thing is like it gets so there's so many good ones that
there's
at
so many
some
good
point,
ones at the
they're
good
all
ones.
taken.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so no, I think it's really cool. Like especially like the whole
rock star. That is clean.
The rock star. I think it's so cool because there's all these different like you have the whole Professional Darts Corporation, the PDC, that runs all of these tournaments. There's the Pro Tour, the European Tour. There's all these different tours. Very similar to like disc golf, for example, there's all these tier levels based on overall ability and experience as well. But it's just like one of those where you're like, man, there's literally like all these premier players playing at all these different tournaments, and it's like somebody new wins almost every different tournament. It's
That's crazy.
It's just crazy to me. But
I found the best nickname.
what is it?
Dirk Titan Van. I don't know how to say his last name. It's some German thing.
Yeah.
But dude, that's a sick nickname. I think he won. Titan?
Yeah.
I would not want to face a guy named Titan when I'm playing darts.
Titan, yeah. There's also the dart selection and the flights, which are the little like
yeah, I
plastic
noticed
feathers.
that. I noticed that too. Like those are pretty in
Customized
depth.
fire. Yeah, there's so many different types. I was very surprised to see the variation because it's like you play like I keep going to disc golf, for example, but like every disc is the same like size overall.
Different.
There's honestly the differences in maybe just a little bit in diameter, like as far as rim angle, depth as far as inside the rim, from that center plate. You have like those little variations, but like darts is like even more like critique. Like you have different grips, you have different stocks, you have all these different flights that you can use just based on your throwing motion. It's like a whole thing down to science, and it's like one of those like, man, I would love to see, like, I'm sure the only way that there isn't,
it's probably
like,
different like angles of what the feathering's at, you know?
Yeah,
is what it
exactly.
is,
Like
just
there's
different
all
weights.
these different modifications you can use. I would love to see like John Brankus come on and talk about the differences in throwing
Sports
different
science.
flights and darts. Yes, bring back sports science, please. That was the greatest show I
The
watched.
difference
as a kid.
is crazy to
Awesome.
see the difference in earnings between number 1 and like number 40. Because number 1's at like 1.2 million,
Mhm.
and then 40 is at like 112,000.
Yeah,
There's a
is that in
pretty big
euros
difference.
or USD?
Sorry, yeah, euros.
Euros. Okay, I was
So
like,
it's-
whoa, USD.
What's more valuable now? Is it the euro or is it the dollar?
I think it's more euros to a dollar. I want to say. I think it's what is it? 1 euro is 98 cents. So it's like very, very close.
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. But in that case, you said what, like 100 or 1.2 million?
It's like a 1.1 million difference.
Yeah. Wait.
Because 40 has $112,000 or whatever value. Number 40 is Martin Clearmaker at $112,000 value. And then
That'd be like 1.1.
Peter Snakebite Wright is at $1.2 million in value.
Yeah, so that would be like 1.17 million
Yeah.
USD, which is pretty impressive if you look at it in that perspective.
Pretty respectable.
just
not
for
gonna lie.
just for throwing some darts at a
It's funny
dartboard.
when like they're playing because it's like dead silent and there's like need a triple 20. He hits it and everybody goes crazy. And like they're like going like nuts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Underrated announcer calls, darts, 100%. The way that they contribute to the game, and this was something like obviously over like COVID is
Well, I mean,
where I
that's
really
just
got into these sports all together. Where like I would like go on YouTube and I'd be bored or whatever, and I got a dartboard for Christmas that year, of course, because I was like, yeah, of course, I would love to play darts or whatever. I used to play at my brother's house all the time, and you see all these different games and all these different announcers, and it's like you don't see like the complimentary, especially with the callers, the people that are on the microphone calling 108 or whatever, but like they like bring so much just absolute entertainment to the game altogether for how great
a talent,
it is.
really.
Yeah, it's extremely talented. Like we have PA announcers in like soccer and all these other sports and whatever. They obviously add to the game, like especially the good ones, and like for like obviously with like football, you got that's an Isabella Bank first down, but like it's like one of those every so often where like the callers are significantly impacting like every single set. Like it's so consistently bringing to the entertainment experience. Like as a fan, it's like, yeah, that's what I absolutely want, and that's why people show up to these things, and they literally pack these event centers to watch screens because there's no way you're literally 400 rows up in a balcony and you can see this little tiny circle on a wall full of sponsors all around it, and you can see that you're watching just straight the TV, but you want to be there because it's that intense. Dark crowds. Yeah. Oh my gosh, next level.
Gets the first triple 20. Can I get the second? Can I get the third? That's insane. There was one, I think it was with, what's his name? I literally watched it the other day. It was the bald guy.
Van Gerwen.
Yeah, Mighty Mike.
Yep.
He had one where like he had to hit like, he needed 2 different ones where he had to get triple 20s or whatever, or like 3 triple 20s.
Yep.
And he got like the first one, and he was just like, cool. And then after the second one or whatever, like he had to get 3 triple 20s, and then the next time he threw, he needed to get another triple 20 to win or something like that. Dude was insane.
Yeah, I remember seeing people have probably seen it, but they probably haven't like seen it is when he had he had 17 consecutive quote unquote perfect darts. He hit 180, and then the 141 to check out 9 darts, which is
17 perfect darts.
Yes, he had 17 perfect. He almost had 2 consecutive perfect legs. Almost
That's crazy.
Exactly.
How many throws?
Would never been done.
How many throws is a perfect game?
A perfect game. Well,
Yeah.
It depends though, because
if you're playing, what is it, 300 or whatever that you got to go down.
501.
501.
501's the number. So the quote unquote perfect leg is a 9 dart, which that's the minimum that you can get it in is 9, where you have 180, and then a 141. Or there's like other variations too, where you can go like 180, 177, the 144, for example. Like it's just a big math game, which also is a big part of darts that I never really realized is like you got to learn how to do math on the fly. Because there's a lot of different combinations you can do. And you find those preferences too. Like every player also throws differently. It's like, you have the generic ones of, you go 180, 141 or whatever. But then there's guys that are like, I only want to check out a double 16 or a double 18 or a double 20 or whatever, a double 12. Like everybody has their own, like they have their own number they're shooting for as far as trying to finish with. You know,
it's cool to see the form that some people throw at, because I'm watching a video right now of Van Gerwen throwing, and he like leans way into it.
Yeah,
and
he's
crazy.
Got a big lean.
Oh, that's too cold. But he's got a big lean. Some people just kind of stand straight up.
Yeah. Like there's Gary Anderson's one that I watched where he's the very, very momentum driven, where he'll find, like once he finds it, then he just goes to it and he just starts just absolutely unleashing like 180 after 180, and he'll just get on fire.
Dude's a gamer, really.
Yeah, he's an absolute gamer. I love watching him play as well. But the enthusiasm too is definitely like a huge aspect. Like Gerwin Price, for example, is one of those guys that's very high intense. Like he'll let you know when he's on fire. You know, like he'll lead out a yell to the crowd. He'll get you going a little bit. Yeah,
gets the people going.
Yeah, he gets. Oh my gosh! I was not prepared for that reference show this morning. But I think it's definitely a cool game that people should check out. Like if you're just sitting on the couch,
it's a fun game of darts.
Got your homework done. Just go check out some of the best like dart combos, the best dart finishes, and I don't think you'll be disappointed.
We got a dartboard in our game room over my cottage.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun, not gonna lie.
No, it is.
I'm not like crazy. I'm not like crazy good, but I'll hit like, I can't hit like triple 20s on a win, but like I'll be able to like, all right, I'm gonna hit the 20 here.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to hit it. And every once in a while I'll be able to like go around the board, but like,
yeah.
A fun thing to do is like you gotta hit like every one in a row or whatever. Like you go around
the world. Yeah,
around the world.
I've played that one a couple times. Yeah.
That one's fun.
Yeah, I always love playing like those other variation games. Like there's like cricket is one of those too, where it's got to be in a certain order, for example. There's a version called like baseball. I don't exactly know how that one works. I know it has some sort of variation with like you have to try to get 4 of something or whatever to signify getting around the bases or whatever. But I'm not
all
totally
these guys
sure
are peak male performance, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Michael Bully Boy Smith.
Michael Bully Boy.
That guy looks scary. I would not want to run into him. He's got tattoos all over him.
He does. Sick. He's a gamer though. They're all gamers.
They're all just players.
Anybody can win on any given day, and that's one of the things I like
just
so much about like darts and disc golf and golf all together. Is there's a new champion almost every tournament.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's really cool. Obviously, you have the favorites, the guys that win 2 or 3 out of the year, and they'll win the world championships, like the Peter Wrights and the Michael Van Gerwens of the darts world. But you still have a lot of those variations of different players. But no, it's super cool. I think darts is a really fun game. I think it's one that people like try the first time and they're like, I don't know what I think of this. And then you're like, oh yeah, I kind of want to keep playing.
Hooked on it.
So yeah, I got hooked on it after when I got my first board for Christmas, and I was probably down there. Oh gosh, I was literally throwing some days until like my arms started to hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I just wanted to get so good at it, and I would say like my hand. If I had like an average round handicap, it's somewhere around like the 650 to 60 range. So like that'd be my average go around on the board, which isn't bad. Like it could be better. But then these pros are averaging 100, and I'm just like, No,
Dude,
I can't.
I think we need to
Crazy.
find just go to break real quick and try to find our top 5 best nicknames out of all these guys,
Oh, I got
and
some.
then bring it back. Because there's a couple that I've found that have been pretty sick.
Okay, I think there's a
That one's
couple.
cool.
Let's see here. We have to go in order because I can name 5 right now, but I don't know if I could go through the entire order, for example.
Well, I mean, not the entire thing, but I found 3 that are just yeah, that's the one.
Yes, I like Gary Anderson's The Flying Scotsman. That one's cool. I don't know why that one's just very.
That's sick.
That one is just
We can just go
very-
through right now and look
very
at some.
clean. Let's see.
Luke Humphreys, cool hand Luke Humphreys.
That's a
you
good
know
one.
it's a good nickname when your name's actually in there. That's how you
Yes.
know you're good.
That's when you know it's good.
German giant Gabriel Clemens.
That's
I mean, he hasn't won any titles at all, but tough. I mean, he's still 22 in the world. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, there's a nicknames quiz online, and I don't even want
Really?
I don't want to take it. I couldn't imagine people knowing 70, 80, 90, 100 players' nicknames.
Chris Hollywood Doby.
That's a good one. Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yeah, was the
The Hurricane. Kim the Hurricane Hybrix.
that's a good one.
I want to know how they. I
alliteration.
want to know how they get or how they develop these nicknames.
I'm sure there's significance behind them. I would have to
Matters Latvian Razmataz Razma. That
What?
is so cool.
say. You repeat that last one.
Matters Latvian Razmataz Razma.
Wow.
That is so cool.
How long do you think it took to develop that nickname?
Well, I mean, his last name's Razma, so they're probably
no, but the flow of it, the whole thing is literally alliterative. Well, not alliterative, but gosh, I don't know what the word is. Not the same sounding. It's not alliteration. It's the other word. I cannot think of it right now, but you know what I mean.
Jermaine the Machine Gun Wadamena. That's so cool.
That's a good one. What are some other ones? There's
Click on a random one.
Nathan the Asp Aspinall. I don't exactly know what that
Andy
is.
the X Factor Bolton.
The X Factor. That's a creative one, I would
Throws
say.
up the X.
Yeah.
Just that's so cool. Oh, Jim Williams doesn't have one. That sucks.
I like Gerwin Prices a lot. The Iceman.
Yeah,
Gerwin
Gerwin
the
Price is
Iceman
pretty
Price.
clean.
Yeah.
What's Michael Van Gerwen's again?
Mighty Mike.
Mighty Mike.
Yes.
Too clean.
It's simple. Yeah.
Clean.
He
Clean,
takes care of business.
Oldie but a goodie, really.
Yes, exactly. Oldie but a goodie. There's a lot of other good ones too. I think there's.
We can't. This
you
is
could spend
undisputed.
a whole.
Undisputed. Darts has the coolest nicknames in all sports.
Oh, I would say absolutely.
Darts has the coolest nicknames.
Absolutely. They're developed into everything. Anything, any tournament you go to, you are going to see Simon the Wizard Whitlock. That's one I just thought of. That came off my head.
Cool.
But that one's cool. But I think it's one of those sports where creativity is so widely regarded within the sport altogether. We don't talk about nicknames in the NFL. We don't talk about we do. It's Dame time in the NBA or whatever.
Well, it kind of just depends on how good the player is. You got the cheetah for Tyreek and stuff, but
yeah, you have nicknames, but they're not even close in usage rate compared to darts.
Yeah.
You refer to them if you're oh yeah, how you feeling about the machine this week? You're what the are you talking about the karaoke machine?
Yeah,
What do you mean? No.
about?
We're talking about James Wade. You're oh yeah, I'm betting on him for sure. He's got it. He's got his hands down.
He's got
this. He's absolutely dialed in. He plays well at this place or whatever. Where it's that's just a carried on common thing that you have within the culture of the darts community is they refer to that stuff like it's your name. It's wait, what? It's not your name though. Cool Hand Luke, yeah, that one does technically have their name in it, but imagine being called Cool Hand Luke when you're walking to a gas station to get gas, for example. It's wait, it's not my closest friend. It's a complete stranger calling me by this nickname. What's going on? But it's much different in their culture as opposed to ours. I think it's really cool. I think it brings a unique our element of customization and personalization that darts has that a lot of sports don't have. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, and you can they have cool shirt designs too, if you've ever seen those.
That's true.
Gerwin Price has that. He's got a black shirt that has an icy gradient to a really light blue and stuff. They can the whole thing. They can literally customize everything down to a T.
Too clean, really.
With their nickname, with their style, you know, like just the whole like element of creating this really unique persona for each player is so unique. And I think that's cool. And I think it's something that it'd be kind of cool, like if you had those kind of things in other sports too. Like you have like obviously a lot of the NBA players and MLB players that have their own custom cleats, their own custom shoes, you know. Like you have those kind of personalized things where you get your own shoe and those sort of things. But like having the whole setup custom to you and your persona, like that's unique, you know. Like Peter Wright has literally the colorful mohawk and has a design or like
in it,
like tattooed and on the side of his head to go with the hair. And then he'll have a coordinated shirt, and then he'll have a coordinated dart set. Like it's just like a whole like all out classic homecoming spirit wear kind of vibe. But it's on the professional scale in front of thousands and thousands of people.
You don't see that all that often.
No,
which is pretty
you never
sick.
see that. So I think darts is really unique, and I encourage people to check it out because it's an underrated sport.
Yeah,
and that's why we covered it. It's undercovered, underrated. We bring them to light on this show, thanks to Joe Nagy's
I will say
list.
this: they have a pretty clean website. Like compared to like all the other stuff that we've looked at, like this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the
Like,
website.
I don't know. You just kind of got to look at it and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think it's set up really nice.
That's what I'm saying.
Web Design 224 taught me all these elements. Look at these grids. Look at these
gradients.
overlayers.
Oh my gosh, pretty insane.
Yeah, look at, oh my gosh, hotkeys. Oh man, we're in.
We should probably end the show
we're
before
on
we start
fire.
talking about this web design, Brandon.
Oh my gosh, look at all of these pictures.
Anyways,
No,
thanks
just
for
kidding.
listening.
Thank you all for listening. Make sure to subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're on. One of the 10 that we're on as well, plus YouTube. You can follow us at the MBSP on Instagram and Twitter for all me and Joe's banger tweets and posts. You can follow along with Ferris State Athletics there, as well as all the other notable sports around the town and all the big news. So you can check all that out and follow along for more. Our followership is getting boosted heavily, so we would appreciate your adage as well. We're making this better for y'all, so help us make it better for y'all. Right, Joe?
Yes, sir. Take care, everybody.